You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
Now I'm slowly learning that people just... I don't see all the stuff that comes in on the... What's it called, Sue, when it comes in on the web? YouTube, is it called? Or the Instagram? Or comments? They can't get enough of Wayne, so what we've done is that we
can't get enough.
Well, no, they like it, and so we did 50 minutes. We don't usually do, and we've come back again for just another final dip. We had Ivan come in, but I've scampered him off because he's off to the tennis. I don't know what game would be playing at this time of the morning, but he's going in there.
Wouldn't have thought a rip snorter.
No, it wouldn't be a rip snorter. He'd probably have a few rip snorters in there and he'd be pissed by the time the tennis comes. You can't watch tennis for 5 sets.
I'm glad you said that because my first date, Jess and I first went to the tennis for our first date, and I thought we could fly under the radar. Anyway, that didn't happen. But we went to the tennis, and I can only sit there I can watch a set because let's be honest.
Two.
Well, you're 6. What are you? 6'5"?
Yeah, 6'3".
With heels, 6'5".
Pantyhose, I can swell my legs up.
So 6'3". So I'm 6'4", Sam. It's amazing, isn't it, to think you're a ruckman and I was a centre half forward, and now we'd both be midfielders. Anyway, you sit there for a set, then I've got to go and have a bit of a wander around. I can come back for another 4 or 5 games, and then I'm out.
Yep.
That does me. I can't sit there for 5 sets.
We went. We watched Djokovic, and it went for 3 sets, and it was 2 sets to 1. And I said, do you realise? I said to Sue, do you realise that should this man win this set, there's another 2 sets to go? I said they hit the ball backwards and forwards 24 times on average. Yep. You sit there and you think. 2 sets pulls me up, and then I said, "That's it."
It is brilliant to watch those.
They're extraordinary talent. The women and the men, it's unbelievable.
When you watch it live, to see the ball literally clears the net by half a centimetre, and it's
absolutely
a force.
Brilliant,
especially when you go and have a hit yourself, and then which I did on Sunday morning, by the way. I went and had a hit.
That's a very interesting. I could play a bit, no good, but. If you had someone up the end and you're warming up, how many shots can you hit backwards and forwards to warm up? I reckon 4 pulls us up, and then someone will hit it out into the net, or you'll hit a...
I do love this time of year, though. You drive past the courts, all the local courts, and everyone's got their tennis gear on, and they're out there playing sport, tennis. Though. It is. Well, you know why?
It's a dying sport.
You know why? Here in Australia, and this comes from a friend, obviously.
The bloke from Wagga?
Because it's expensive. It's actually expensive to get a good coach, so to get lessons. So you can go and play AFL footy, or you can play rugby league or soccer, and it might cost you $200 for the year, and that's registration and insurance at a local footy club. So that's what it costs for a whole season to play one of those sports. To play tennis, now obviously it doesn't. If you're just going around and you can just go to play each Saturday against your opposition, but if you want to be good and you've got to get a couple of lessons, then the cost of those lessons by a good coach is huge. So this is my friend's opinion. That's why tennis, and we don't have an abundance of tennis players coming through, juniors and stuff. Although I saw young Cruz Hewitt try to qualify for the Australian Open and didn't get through, but he's still only 16 years of age. But apparently it's just so expensive to play.
So it's a racist sport.
So what? A racist sport. Where do you get onto a racist sport?
Because only white males can afford to do it, like they can go skiing.
Well, the greatest female tennis player of all time is Serena Williams.
Yes, I'm talking generally. The only people who can afford to have a
Goolagong.
coach.
Yvonne Goolagong.
Wayne, please.
There
are exceptions. This is just a throwaway generic statement.
Stevens, who played the other night.
The only people who generally can afford to have a coach are upper class white males because they are I'm just saying that's what the DEI people say about racism. They said firefighting is racist because they're all white males generally who go and fight the fires. Hence, the 3 LGBTQ people who head up the Los Angeles. I'm making this up. The Los Angeles Fire Department. That's how they got their jobs, because DEI swung in, not the meritocracy, just who they were and their gender and their skin colour.
So
that's what's the problem.
Yep, we got onto this because Ivan is on his way to the tennis, and it's only early in the morning while we're doing this, and he's not doing much there at the minute, unless he's watching I don't know what. I'm sure there's
swanning around with his dick hanging out.
Well, there'd be the you have the ground pass where you walk around. It's got all the bars and all that sort of stuff. And I think they have a lot of stuff for kids now too, don't they? I might take Carter there.
Now, I don't think I've overlooked this, because tomorrow you become a father again. I just don't want to just say that as a throwaway line. I'm coming back to that. But while I'm on it, how come? I watched the tennis last night. I watched. I'm not sure. I watched. I watched Curios.
Yep.
How come we've done this every year? How come the Chinese liquor company can have their liquor brand plastered all over the back of the court, and yet you can't advertise beer on the television at the court? You can't advertise cigarettes. How come the Chinese can have their big liquor sign up at the back of the court? Plastered everywhere. It's 67% alcohol. It is. If you had 2 drinks of it, you'd fall over.
What I don't know. What is the major? It's the Kia major sponsor.
Yeah.
There's not too many Aussie companies. ANZ, I think I saw on the court. Funny you say that. It's funny. It's a good observation, because I was sitting there with Jess the other night watching it, and I said, have a look at all the brands.
Yep.
None of them are Aussie brands.
No, and liquor. How can you have that plastered in front of you?
Yeah, it's a good drop though. I think is that the? Oh, it's a whiskey. No, I haven't had that. I do like the 197s. The vodka.
Do you, Wayne? Is that your drink of choice?
No.
What is your drink of choice?
I'm a
bit of Red Bull and something.
I've gone into the mid-strength. I'm a Great Northern. I like it, the mid-strength Great Northern, and I've got a lot of mates that sort of call me. They're very jocular. Remember, a lot of my mates around and they think that I'm as weak as piss now because I drink a mid-strength beer. And our mid-strength beer
I'd like them to tell you that in the pub.
Our mid-strength beer here is, by the way, a full-strength beer in America. Because their light beer in America is light in calories, not light in alcohol. But anyway, Great Northern, nice crisp Great Northern. If
you can mention them one more time, we'll see if we can get them to sponsor us.
Vodka, and the vodka, the 197s are nice, although I like those hard solos. The hard solos that are out now, and you've got the lemon lime and the lemon ones with no sugar.
Alcoholics.
No sugar.
Alcoholic solo.
Hey, yes.
Yeah, I went into a...
Solo man.
Went into the supermarket.
Solo man. You remember that ad? You would have...
I don't drink. I went into the supermarket the other day and bought an outer of the solos. I thought I'll have them on the boat, and drank 2 of them, and nearly actually fell over on the front of the boat.
Oh, did you think it was a...
Yeah, Sue said, you're drinking... I said, I'm drinking solo. She said, no, have a look read the label. I said, fuck me. Christ, I was...
Well, that's why they changed the packaging a little bit, because they were saying it was too inviting for kids to drink. So my little every now and then I give Carter...
You don't think that would be by design, would you?
I wouldn't have. I would have probably...
You wouldn't think that they would be making it look like soft drinks so the kids buy it? Yeah,
I grew up with that solo ad, where the guy's in the canoe and he's got the mustache and he's a man and he slams it down fast. Yeah. So I went on to YouTube and showed Carter the ads, and now when we go into a bakery or somewhere to a shop to get a sandwich or a sausage roll or something for him, he'll say, Dad, can I have a solo man, solo? And he starts singing the song.
Jeez, I'm going to
Just wants an energy drink.
Wouldn't it be great to follow the great duck around and see what he does with his kids and how he operates? It's just, you could just make a reality show out of you. See, Budweiser tried to join the real world, or the fake world under Joe Biden. Remember Budweiser ran that campaign with that transgender woman person. I can't think of her name. Sue will look her up.
Yes, I do remember.
Trying to appeal to all the trans people and alternate people, and their sales they've gone into damage control. They got a steamroller and they steamrolled over all the cans that had her face. They nearly went out of business. Budweiser, the huge, big nickel-bob Budweiser people.
Didn't mind a Budweiser when I went over there.
So I'll tell you now, we spoke about Tony Sheen. Now, Tony Sheen mentioned this on the podcast here a while ago. He used to drink, his drink of choice, he used to take Still Knocks. He used to drink Still Knocks. And I said, yeah, he used to drink alcohol and Still Knocks. And I said, what would you do that for? Doesn't Still Knocks put you to sleep? Isn't that a sleep?
No, I don't
Still
think
Knocks. Of course it is.
Yeah.
Still Knocks.
I know what Still Knocks is. Yeah.
Well, that's what it is. But apparently if you drink it with another upper and a downer, it makes you go mad.
I love how you know exactly what you're talking about, but you asked me the question.
Well, Tony said when I asked you what's your drink of choice, Tony said his drink of choice. He told me, and he said, "But I have it with Still Knocks," and I thought that's unusual.
Yeah, well, you probably, I'm a great northern man, Sam, and if I do venture into the spirits,
that's 5 times you've mentioned them.
I don't
got
get
any contacts at Great Northern?
No, I've got a good mate that is at Lion Nathan, but they're not. I don't think who owns Great Northern? I don't think Lion Nathan do. Got a great mate at Lion Nathan. I think Great Northern's probably is that a
Queensland?
CUB? Is that a CUB owned?
I don't know. I don't drink. Not that you have to drink to know about that.
Well, you had some hard solos just the other day.
I know. So Sue said, "Here, have a solo, quench your thirst." Did I crush the can? I nearly crushed the boat in half. I got a rush of strength from all the alcohol in it, and I couldn't take the boat out because I'm the designated driver. I had to wait till I went under 05.
Well, how many did you have?
I had two quick.
It wouldn't have been over. You only had that many.
Well, I wouldn't be over. Nearly fell over.
Would there be, given that the Australian Open's on, would there be another sport if you didn't play 300 games for Geelong? Mm-hmm. Would there be another sport that you could have excelled in? I know you love your golf.
Yeah, that I couldn't have excelled at golf, but I'd love to have been a top 10 golfer in the world.
Okay, but I'm asking, was there another sport that you think that you could have excelled in?
Wouldn't you have liked to have been?
Not what you would have liked to have been. Do you think that you had the skill set to succeed in?
Only running. I could have been now. So here. Wait for this till I massage myself up until I'll explode in my pants. When I joined Geelong, the head trainer there is a bloke called Arthur Edgerton. Yep. And I was a very good schoolboy athlete, won this Victorian schoolboys hurdles champion.
Hurdles.
And when I got to Geelong in '64, he took me aside and he said, football's going to be your thing. I said, well, I'm here, Arthur. I'm here. I've got Polly Farmer's jumper as a sign-on. I'm going to play football. He said, if ever you to think you don't want to this, I could make you a world-class 400-metre runner. He said, because I keep an eye on talent and people who have the ability to actually almost sprint for 400 metres, and he thought that was me. How about me saying this about myself?
No, that's all right. So what's your best time, 400?
Oh, no, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. He just said I would be. He'd kept an eye on my school sport career.
Okay, so athletics is
and that
your
requires
answer.
Nothing more. You don't have to have good eye-hand coordination. You don't have to duck punches. You don't have to hit a ball. All you got to do is run like the wind.
Well, not everyone can do it, Sam.
No, that's right. Of course,
that's right. So what you're saying is you could have gone down the athletic path. if
I
you didn't
could
play
have,
football?
and I mightn't have got anywhere. But that was in answer to your question.
Yeah,
You
okay.
said, "Do you think you could have done anything else? Maybe just that."
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And what about your good self, Doug?
Me, where do we start?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm being facetious.
Boxing.
I'm being facetious. No, I grew up playing rugby league, so I would have thought, given the skill set in rugby league and all the rugby league followers, I've said this numerous times, it doesn't require as much skill. Rugby league is a very tough game.
Very tough.
Very tough.
Yeah, good athletes.
Well, not all of them are great athletes, but they are tough and they are hard, and that is the the difference in their game is the toughness comes.
Like British bulldog.
The toughness comes in front of you, so you do know you're about to be hit. Unlike our game, where you can be hit from any angle,
Yes.
so there are degrees of difficulty in both of those things. But when you're looking at guys like Joey Johns and Laurie Daly and Fittler and Clyde and Stewart and Meninga and all of these guys, we're talking about the superstars, the Wally Lewis. The king of rugby league.
Paul
you look at those,
Vaughton.
you look at those guys. Fatty, there are guys that have an abundance of skill. Thurston's, who was just an absolute superstar, and then those guys
The
are just
full-back who
you
used
watch.
to play
Yeah,
for-
Billy Slater was
Billy.
Yeah, Billy was a star. Cameron Smith. So when you're talking that echelon of player, then it's different. Me being 6'4", but I thought that if I'd stuck to rugby league, I think I could have done all right at league. That's probably the one, if I was to pick out of any sport, that I thought that I.
So of the top 50 sports people in the world at the age announced, and you were 32.
Yep.
32 on the list. Were there any rugby league players?
I haven't
on
looked
there?
at. Joey Johns was on it.
Was
saw
he?
Joey Johns on it. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I was just wondering if there was a.
Joey Johns. I don't know who else. I don't know whether Wally was on it. I met Wally Lewis once. Did I?
Yeah,
I've told
Wally
you
Lewis
on that.
plenty. No.
Did I tell you on this podcast? I did it on my podcast.
Yes.
I haven't done it on. I'll tell you a quick story. So
Well, maybe some people here at this time.
yeah. No, so I met the great Wally Lewis in the Gold Coast, and you have communal toilets on the Gold Coast. So you go to Moo Moo's or Koi or one of those restaurants, and they don't have their own toilet.
No.
So you've got to go to a communal toilet.
Yeah.
And anyway, I was eating at Moo Moo's one night, and I walked into the toilet, and I was standing there, just urinating, doing a wee. And
Thank you, Wayne.
I looked over, and as you do, a gentleman stood next to me, and I looked over, and there was the great Wally Lewis.
Yep.
And before I do that, you look over and you just sort of measure up and sort of.
Do you?
Well, we'll just sort of have a look, and then I looked up, and it was the great Wally Lewis, and I went, "Oh, g'day, King," and he looked at me and went, "G'day, King." And
at that stage, I reckon it would have been both of you very hard to urinate because you would have got horns. You cannot piss if you've got a horn.
That was the only thing we said to him. I was like, "G'day, King," and he said, "G'day, King," and I thought, oh, this is going to be great. I'll go out, and Wally left first, and he washed his hands, and I washed mine. I walked out. I thought, he'll be waiting out here. I'll be able to have a good chat to him. Never saw him again. So that's I have seen him since.
Yeah.
And he's a great man.
What fascinated me about that story is, and this is once again, it's a bit like shaving the plums or getting the waxing the plums and all that. So when you go into a urinal and there's someone standing next to you, you always look over and measure up, do you?
Oh,
I've never done that ever.
I'd be lying if I didn't say you sort of have a little peek to see whether you got them covered or not.
Do you? So you're standing having a piss in the urinal, and you immediately look over at the bloke, at the piss coming out of the bloke's dick, and you think, shit, I reckon my cock's bigger.
You don't immediately.
You don't immediately.
You might. Everyone, most blokes would admit they
look at the people's cocks while they're having a piss.
You just have a little look over and just, you don't do it all the time.
What is wrong with me?
Depends. Sometimes depends on what mood you're in, I guess. Sometimes you might want to hide in the corner, or if you're not feeling.
Depends what mood you're in.
Not feeling great, you might sort of shuffle into the corner. You know when you. When you're on, when you've got the big long urinal,
you're
right?
taking the piss.
Sorry. Okay,
about
so when you go to the, okay, let's talk about you go to the races or you go to somewhere where you've got the big long trough.
Yeah.
And you've got the lollies everywhere in the trough.
I've lay in that a few times.
You've got lollies in the trough. Yeah, I've seen a few people in them.
Trough boy, they used to call me.
Trough boy. But everyone lined up, right? And you literally got a gap that wide.
Yeah.
You got a gap that wide.
That's right.
Now, there are those guys that will see
how big a gap do you need to put your dick through?
There's those guys, though, that'll stand back and they'll wait for a bigger gap, right? And then there's guys that just go for that gap because they're confident in how they feel about themselves. The guys, so I just go straight into the gap, right? And I squeeze in there. I go, excuse me, boys, there's enough room here. And I squish myself in there. And then once I'm in there, I start doing a wee. And then you can't tell, you don't just look straight ahead. I've got to just have a little, just, okay.
Do you?
You're just I have a look left, right, and then focus. You don't, any longer than a second or two staring. So you just get a quick observation.
Do you know what I'm suddenly realising?
Well, I've got an issue with...
No, I'm suddenly realising people say, oh, you're winding Wayne up a bit. It's exactly the opposite. People are now saying, you understand he's taking the piss out here and you're taking him seriously. I'm sitting here listening to this. You've got a gap. You said you got a gap, which you said was a foot wide. I don't know how big your dick is, but you can stick it.
I'm talking about a gap a foot wide to stand in, to get in.
You could just piss through past their hips.
No, you don't do that because if
you can't see their dicks.
No, because sometimes it can shoot off to the right or the left, and you might hit someone.
Shoot off to the right or the left?
Well, you've got to be you've got to be level with
mean?
them. You can't stand back and try to piss through a
gap
because
you shoot off to the right or the left.
Well, you don't.
You have a bend in it.
Sometimes you don't have complete control where your wee's going to start with. Sometimes you can get a shot go right and a shot go left, and then it straightens up.
And then
once it straightens up, you're sweet. But you've got to be level with them. You're not going to sit back and piss on someone's leg.
And then you said sometimes you'll go into a urinal and you won't be feeling good. Depends on your mood. You might be up, you might be down. What if you're horny? You go straight in, do you? And
no, well, I don't know. Depends on the exact. There's one of the mothers just. One of the mums that I have to get back to, Sam, just calling through. Well, we're about to. Jess is we're going in tomorrow. Have I told you we're going in?
I did say I wanted to give this a little time, and I'm getting so tomorrow, Wayne.
We're going in tomorrow. So
we are going in tomorrow, and you're going to, and you're giving birth. Your partner's giving birth to. The person you said you'd named already?
No, I haven't named.
No, you gave me the name last week.
No, I did not.
Well, you gave me a suggestion.
Well, name that. I'll give you. I'll let you know next week.
Clay.
Clay.
Didn't you?
I said Clay was one of the names I liked.
Clay.
Yes.
Clay Carey.
Cassius Clay. Cassius Clay.
KK.
No, it was one of the names. It was one of the names.
Well, what's some of the others?
And
you're going in tomorrow. How exciting!
Yeah, no, it is.
You're going to watch the whole.
That's one of the
whole messy.
That's one of the mums that Charlotte. Obviously I'll be in at the hospital, so you've got to get the other kids looked after.
Look at the whole grizzly
so
mess.
Mum's coming down to look after Carter tonight. She'll be down tonight.
Jeez, they'll all have to get all the people that handle all your kids will have to come down the bus.
So yes, just getting everything organised. Very organised.
Got a chair placed in the delivery room to look at the whole grizzly mess unfold.
No,
you won't be looking at it.
No. Well, how did we get onto this?
Well, I'll tell you how. If you go into a urinal,
anyway, the urinal, the
go into a urinal and watch people's dicks, I reckon you're going to.
I think you got to be truthful to the people on this podcast.
Oh yes,
and that is, you can't tell me you don't go in and all the you don't go in and do a wee, and you naturally just look right. You naturally look left.
I can absolutely tell you
And
I don't
my
do
vision, and my vision, which is why you were good at. How do you pronounce the word peripheral vision?
that. Peripheral.
Peripheral vision.
Close.
Is enormous.
Yeah.
So if I look at sort of chest to head length, I can see to their feet.
Why don't you just go in, point Percy at the porcelain, or do whatever you do, have a urinate, and then just do your fly up and walk out?
Because I, sometimes you might know the guy down the end, or you might
Down the end, you look past 8 or 9 dicks hanging out, and there's a bloke down the end with a.
Absolutely.
And you said you can't honestly tell me I should be honest on the podcast. I don't honestly not do that. I can tell you I honestly do not do that.
Well, I do. So if you're doing a piss next to me, you can be assured I'll be saying g'day or having a just. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I can assure
won't
you,
be having a
if you're having a piss you'll be never
ahead.
having a piss next to me. In that case, I'll be right down the other end of the cubicle. What happens if you want to do poo? You don't just walk in.
No. Well,
Would you look at someone doing poo?
Well, no, of course not. No. Well, you've generally got a.
I didn't. That
a
didn't
barrier.
Didn't need a straight answer.
I know.
That was a joke.
I know. No, that was a joke.
So no, I can honestly say I don't do that. So your child is a boy tomorrow?
Yes,
it
is a boy. Yeah, we know the sex.
And can I ask you this question? It's a vexed question that used to happen. It just used to be mandatory, but now it's probably doesn't happen that often. Will you have him circumcised?
Yes.
Yes,
absolutely.
Your partner is
absolutely.
Absolutely. Good.
Categorically.
That's good.
I'm circumcised. Carter's circumcised.
Thank you, Wayne. Yes.
This next child,
most of the people you piss next to, are they circumcised?
Well, it's funny. Back in the day, they were all circumcised.
Yeah, they
now
were.
There's a few more.
So I take your point that sometimes when you take, pardon me for this, but sometimes it doesn't straighten up, and you've got to be careful if it doesn't shoot out to the right. If they're uncircumcised, it can get caught up in the helmet there before it actually the urine before the water actually pushes through the
skin. You mean?
Yes.
Not in the helmet.
Foreskin. No, not in the helmet. No, and then the water can come out anywhere. It can be,
correct. They don't have as much control as the helmet.
No, but that's so. I can understand if you're uncircumcised, you can't immediately be aware of where the stream's going to go.
Well, I've never had that complete. I've had plenty of conversations with mates of mine that are not circumcised, and Have
you?
Yeah.
What's that?
Well, back in the day, you
have plenty of conversations with blokes who are.
Well, it used to be a thing back when I was growing up, and it's obviously not now. But back in the day, if you weren't circumcised, then you'd get teased.
Yep.
You'd get teased for not being circumcised.
Yeah. Now I got teased when I wasn't circumcised.
You did?
Yeah. I got circumcised when I was 10.
10?
I think. Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah, because I got teased.
Is that why? So you got at 10? I've never heard that before.
Well, I've never said that before.
So you got circumcised as a 10-year-old? That would have been, because you know how there's this argument about it being painful.
8.
So there's an argument. there's a.
I got teased at school.
There's an actual thing. So there's an argument to both. People say, oh, it's cruel to circumcise a baby. I can tell you this: when Carter got circumcised,
mandatory it is.
Did not cry. What I do know is that didn't even cry when he got circumcised. It's that quick. It's done and dusted, and he was obviously clearly he doesn't remember it. So for those who say, it's a bit like saying the dogs that get diseases when they so you take some of their tail off because of their and different stuff, and they say that's cruel. You shouldn't take that.
Boxer dogs.
Excuse me. I'll have to
take this call. This could be she might be in labour now.
No. It's one of the other mothers.
Step away, and I'll tell a joke about no circumcised.
I'll call you back in 10 minutes. She hung up.
I know this. Boxer dogs, they get their tails sort of cut off so they can let other boxers in the ring.
Okay.
I tell you.
Anyway, how we got on? Yes, so
10. I think I was.
You were 10.
I think so.
I would
10
imagine.
or 9.
I would imagine that.
Hurt. Shit. Did it hurt? Anyhow, I know this bloke who was circumcised people, and he had a surgery in Collins Street in Melbourne, and he had in the surgery window watches hanging up, Swatch watches and Petite Philippe's and Rolex watches, and a bloke walked in and said, "I'd like to buy a watch," and the receptionist says, "We don't sell watches." He said, "What do you do?" "We circumcise people." He said, "What do you got watches hanging in the window for?" She said, "What would you hang in the window?"
Now, this is not contrived, by the way, but I do have to.
No, please.
Just quickly.
Do you want me to push on with things?
No.
Right.
Hey,
Wayne now, I'm just going to. Wayne now
to
is
the uniform
just
shop?
taking a phone call from one of his former partners. He's one of his original partners. The current one is currently in labour and going to have a child tomorrow. We're not sure what its name is. We think it's going to be Clay. And now he's speaking to one of his other former partners about getting a uniform for someone to go. You done?
No.
More got to making to one of the third partners now. There's it's trying to organise this. We've got a row of Uber cars outside Wayne's residence. He's now speaking about 2 or 3 of his children, and he's now just getting a couple of mother-in-laws to come down. One of his mother-in-laws is a faith healer, but the other one is a blue healer. So he's not sure which one of those is. But he's now just organising family matters before his child is born tomorrow to his partner, Jess. And so I just had to joke. I was filling in.
You know what that's called, Sam?
No, I do.
It's called
juggling. Yeah, no, I know exactly what that's meant.
But all organised.
That is.
So back just quickly. As a 10-year-old, you got circumcised.
I think I was 10.
So
I think
as
I
they
was
say,
10.
you start remembering stuff from about 5 onwards. Is that fair? Is that what they say? Your memories, like for instance, holidays, and they say you're about 5.
Yeah.
Before 5, some people remember stuff before 5. I have a couple of memories, and because they were big memories, before I was 5. I remember I pooed my pants at the first day of school my first day of school, so I remember that.
Pooed your pants.
So you would remember, hey?
Yes.
And you would remember actually getting circumcised.
Oh, my word, I do. Yeah, Christ. They took
you would have had a local and
they took the end of it. They made a Gladstone bag out of the offcut. No, certainly do, and hurt. Fuck me, did it hurt? I'll tell you who got circumcised, because I met him when he came out to the footy show, Sir Richard Branson. He said he got circumcised when he was 16 or 17. It's in his book, Sir Richard Branson.
We used to have,
because he said the partners that he went out with preferred.
Well,
they do.
Well, I have had this conversation with many friends, and back when you were growing up, there would, you talk to girls and you would ask them their preference.
Yep.
And I don't know whether it's changed or not, but
absolutely.
The preference was always,
of course,
to be circumcised.
Of course, it is.
Sorry to all those that are non-circumcised. I'm just saying that back then that may have changed. That may have flipped.
I've got no one to, as a point of reference, to ask, present company included, so I can't ask, but you ask any woman if... we did mention last week that oral sex was detrimental to your health. Do you remember we said that last week? Or weren't you here when I said that? No, that was a topic we discussed, because a report came out, said that there's quite some diseases for the mouth.
No, someone told me about this. They said, you were speaking about oral sex on the podcast. And I said, damn, I missed that.
No, you must have gone, we were speaking to that. No,
I missed that.
I'm just writing.
You must have been talking to Ivan or someone about that.
I was, and Dickie. I was looking at my notes from last week. So
Two guys that probably, because I did be experts.
No, it was Ivan. Because that's right, it was Ivan and Dick. Because I said, I'm not sure how you're going at home, but oral sex is probably not a big list of things in your household. I'm tipping. But I did. I did. So they did say that you ask any woman. I don't care. Ask any woman.
Those that,
would
you reckon those that
prefer to have oral sex with someone who's been circumcised or not? And
I love how we get onto topics that just.
Well,
we're talking about. That's right. We're talking about going to the urinal. And anyway,
yes.
So if you walk into a urinal with me, be assured, I'd just like to say, g'day.
Holy shit!
Friendly.
I tell you what, I'm nearly 80. I'm in my 80th year.
Geez, you look good.
Yeah, thanks. I wouldn't have thought you could have taught me anything about life. You've taught me two things in as many weeks. One is that there's rooting going on in the Qantas lounge, and two is that you've got to check out people's dicks at the urinal because you'll be surprised at how big and how much squirts the other way and how many people are not nobbled and how many people are not snipped. I step out of here and I get in the car and I'm fucking exhausted. I think, shit, I haven't even lived. And then it's extraordinary. And the plums, that's right, fucking waxing the plums. I went home and I thought, shit, I thought, imagine putting some boiling hot wax on your agates and sitting there watching the news and think it's about sitting and ripping it off.
The wax part actually feels quite nice, the warmth of when you put the wax on.
Oh, no,
it's when it gets ripped off, Sam.
I could understand that. I could understand. Well, Wayne, so do you know why we thought we'll do another segment? We'd got about driving, road rage.
Oh, that's right.
And you. So I'll tell you two things that I could easily get out of the car if I didn't want the publicity about, damn, Newman gets out and punches someone and he gets poleaxed by a bloody Macedonian fucking weightlifter. Any weightlifter, any person, is if someone, you've stood in two lanes of traffic going down and there's a third lane which you obviously know is going to stop because there's cars parked up there, and I watch them in the mirror. We've taken our turn for the traffic lights and the fucking traffic, and you watch this car come from half a mile back. It goes down the lane, and you can know that he's going to cut in or she's going to cut in. That fucking, I would rather scratch my car and dint it rather than letting that person in. That's when the horn comes out.
Are you a person though?
That's when the horn comes out.
So if a person comes up, so you're sitting in a bit of traffic.
Yep.
And there's some roadworks or something going on. So if a person goes to the nth degree, so right to the end of that, and to miss all the lines which you've been sitting in, and just tries to gently come in, you won't let him in?
Not at all. Well, why?
Why not?
Because you've sat for 10 minutes.
That person might be in a hurry.
Of course.
Yes, right.
Yeah, I'm in a hurry. So Wayne, here's
what you're going to save yourself by not letting that person in. You've actually saved yourself not even a second.
I can go further than that. If the person in front of me looks like he's going to let him in, I'll toot the person in front
to go forward,
to just not let that person in, because it's not as though they've made a mistake and thought, oh shit, I'm in a lane that's going to shut down. They can see that why would there be 400 metres of cars lined up if everyone could do that?
You know what I'm picturing? This is what I'm picturing. The great Sam Newman going over the Westgate Bridge. You driving over the Westgate, and there's, by the way, the roadworks that they put on there over Christmas that held up traffic for 5 hours coming back from Torquay.
For 10 years.
2 hours, sorry. It was 2 years. Felt like 2 years.
It's been 2 years.
2 hours it took me to get over the Westgate just after Christmas.
Yeah.
It did. 2 hours.
That's the Andrews government.
To go for 8, it was literally, I was 8 minutes. 8 minutes that took 2 hours.
That's the Andrews government at work.
Anyway, I picture you going over the Westgate in traffic, roadworks on, someone coming up the inside lane to try and cut in, or the right, actually it was the right side, trying to come to the left. Yeah. I can picture you not letting that person in, getting angry, looking up, seeing the Aboriginal flag.
Yeah, why is that there?
Swinging. No, this is what
I know.
I'm just picturing your anger.
I'm with
you.
And
just looking up at the flag and the Australia, and then looking at the guy traffic trying to get in. You would burst flood vessel.
A foofer valve.
You would.
So, Wayne, if you've genuinely you're in a lane that you didn't realise was closing down.
You've just got to be calmer than that. Just, you know what, just go with the flow. Let the person in. You know what, might be in a hurry. Let them in. Just relax. Just sit back. Just drive with the wind in your hair. You've got the roof off. You know, you're not in a hurry. And if you're not in a hurry, you've got nowhere to be.
I've got the roof off. Yeah. I won't need the horn. I'll say, fuck off. Wayne, seriously, that is absolute. If you allow people to do that, is just so ignorant of those people. Everyone's taken their turn.
Don't you think it depends on the mood you're in? And if you know you've had
angry mood,
you've had a good you've had a good morning. You know the things have gone right. The kids have got off to school. Everyone's happy. They're lunch.
The point that someone would do it. Would you do it? Would you go down?
Oh yeah, I'm a chronic. I go right down and just. But I won't. You won't even know. I'm that good. I will actually get down and I'll be inside there and I'll get in front of you before you even know I'm in front of you, and then you'll get on the horn and toot me.
Not if it's
and then you'll get from
not
me.
if you're the car that's getting in front of me. If you got in front of the car in front of me, I can't do much about it. But you'd never get in my car. I'd rather do a guard.
It's all to come up with. You've got to hit it with speed. You can't just creep up. You've got to come up with speed. You see the gap and you go straight into it. And bit like the piss trough. You see the gap and you go straight. Straight through.
So tell me this.
Yes.
So you're driving down the lights. You can see they've turned red. Right, so you're driving down, rather than hammering the car down to the lights and putting your brakes on, you ease off,
of course.
And there's a car on your right and there's a free space at the front of the light. You just cruise down there and someone comes down and cuts in front of you and brakes. And you've got to stand on the brakes.
So they get pole position.
Pole position. Fuck, that annoys me. That so fucking annoys me.
A truck did that to me. Not a big truck, just I don't know, a small, one tonner. Just did that the other day. There was a big line to the left, and I was coming up out to get pole position, and then this truck pulled out to get pole position. I thought, you know what? I didn't get angry. I got angry. I was more disappointed that the truck. If you're a car, I wouldn't have minded because I was far enough back that it didn't make. I didn't have to brake.
He's not going to go off the lights
correct.
At speed, is
he's going to. Well, he's going to go off. He's going to
a
little bit. Yes, the truck is.
And that
correct.
That didn't annoy you.
Yeah, it did. It annoyed me, but I didn't get angry about it. I just thought.
Didn't you?
Anyway, it did. It actually was just around the corner here, but.
Tess.
But the cutting in. So I'm a cutter innerer, and I did it actually on the not the West Gate, the Balti Bridge. I did it on the Balti Bridge, Sam, and you wouldn't believe it. The bloke recognised. I had my kids in the car, right? I had my kids in the car. The right-hand lane on the Balti was closed, but it was
You
free.
knew it was closed.
Well, you could see from a fair way away, and it said that it was closed, right? And there was no one in it.
Why? Because they're taking their turn, because they're being courteous.
There's a lineup. So I literally, but as I'm going up, this ute, big, one of the big Rams, with big Rams, big ute, was about to pull in and do the same thing. But it was going to cut me off because I was coming at a bit of speed. And when I say a bit of speed, just the speed limit, but I was coming at a bit of speed.
What would be the speed limit of the Roebuck's, 40?
Yes.
Yeah, so you would.
But all the other cars weren't moving.
At a bit of speed.
But they weren't moving.
I wonder why. Because they were taking their turn.
So as I was coming up, this big Ram went to come in, and I've just got, and then you realise I got on the horn to let him know that he was going to cut me off, and therefore I wouldn't have had enough velocity to cut in. So I got on the horn, and as I went past, the bloke yelled out, "You're all right, Mark, Wayne Carey." He saw me, actually, because obviously I wasn't going that fast. Anyway, he yelled that out. And my daughter said, "Dad, did you hear what that meant?"
And that didn't annoy you?
Well, then I wanted to go back.
Oh, I see, and have a to-do.
Well, he was going to do the same thing. I just beat him to the punch.
No, so that didn't annoy you?
No,
Him
well,
trying to
I do.
cut you
when
off?
someone, I do. The only time you get upset, and it's probably more an ego. If someone yells at you in the car when you haven't done anything wrong, that's when I get more than happy to pull over. I'm more than happy to pull over and
have a bit of
discussion.
Have a discussion. Pull over and have a discussion.
Yeah, more than happy to do that. But you find a lot when they look through the window, then they change their mind.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
They change their mind.
So
but I love the fact that you're an angry driver.
No,
I would love to see that you. I'd love to see you on the West Gate.
Well, I go on the West Gate every day.
I know, but I'd look up.
I'm not an angry driver. I'm courteous. I just don't.
You're a road rager.
I'm not a road rager.
Every time you get into the car, do you feel like you have some sort of disagreement with another car?
No.
Okay, not
because I drive sensibly,
Yep.
and I expect.
Are you a bit of a driving Miss Daisy style driver, and just sort of think the road's all, you own the road and drive that slow. No wonder cars want to cut you off because you just. I can picture
Thank you,
that.
Wayne. I tell you, I have three, as you know, out the back here, I have three old cars. One of them's a 1959 Cadillac, another's a 1967 Ford Mustang, and the other one's a 1966 E-Type Jaguar. Those cars are not meant to be sped and driven at speed. I don't drive them at speed, so I drive them leisurely, and I keep pace with the people in front.
You'd be one of those real annoying drivers.
I'd be I am absolutely. We're having a driving test next week. A bloke said to us, "You reckon you're a great driver?" I reckon I'm in the top 1% of drivers in Australia.
Do you have great vision?
I have absolutely great.
Can you read the traffic ahead?
That's what I'm great at.
Have you ever had it? We all men say that, by the way.
Now, hang on.
All men.
Hang on.
We reckon we can read the traffic.
Well, I read the traffic, so I don't rush up to the lights when they're red. I just cruise up, and then other people rush in front of you, and you've got to stand on the brakes.
Well, I read it. I think I'm a good reader. Have you ever had an accident?
No, I've had accidents. I've had accidents.
Can't be that good a driver then.
Well, did you say were they my fault?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've had accidents.
Well, you're not that good a reader then.
Not on the contrary. If someone spears out that should have given way to you,
but you should have read that.
If someone spears out from a side street that should have given way to you, you just assume that because that they're on.
No, see, that goes back to my point before. You didn't read that. You didn't read that. You've got to read that they're going to do that.
How many points you got off your licence?
Me right now?
Yes, right.
Not one, because I got them all back because I lost it for 3 months. So right now, you wouldn't believe it. I got Jess to check it last night, and I said, "How many points have I got off my license?" She said, "You've got your full complement." So that is.
So you got them all back because you went for 3 months without a license, did you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. So you tallied them up within a period of a year. How you lost 3 points here and 2 points there? How long did it take you to lose your licence?
I wouldn't have been. I tell you, the mistake that I made, I wasn't the driver of all of those points.
I see. You're just shivving over your points to your family members.
No, listen, I wasn't the driver when I lost mine.
But you took the points for them.
No, but because I didn't put in the written confirmation of that in time, I invariably ended up taking them. So that's
fantastic. That is unbelievable.
So I'm now getting you as a driver. You would be an annoying, right on the limit.
I'm the best driver.
Right on the limit.
Most comforting.
Do you sit in the right hand lane? Do you sit in the right hand lane and not let people pass?
Of course I don't.
Okay, all right.
Ever.
By the way, by the sounds of it, you're not a great reader of traffic.
I am the best reader of traffic.
Have you ever been hit by a tram? Be honest. Have you ever been hit by a tram?
Of course I haven't been hit by a tram.
Remember when Chicken, was it Chicken or Dave? No, who was it?
Warwick?
No, a few people have been hit by a tram, and you go, how do you get hit by a tram? They don't exactly shoot out of a side street.
That's right. That's right, because they turn in front of them or they... So, how many points have I lost off my licence?
Okay, I was going to ask you
Yeah.
that. And I get the feeling
How
zero.
many points did I?
0.
And for how long?
Oh. Well,
12 years I haven't
and
had a
you've
point.
never lost a point?
Never lost a point for 12 years.
Well, that's how I can tell you're a shithouse driver.
Oh, I see.
You're
I
not-
haven't
yeah.
sped. I haven't been on the phone.
got to have at
I haven't
least
gone
lost-
through a
You've
stoplight.
got to have at least lost a point.
I have not lost a point. I can demonstrate that right now on
Yeah,
my licence.
No, I believe you, and that's how I can tell you'd be a really annoying driver on the road. I reckon you'd be a driver.
I am in the top 1%
Yes,
of drivers.
driving
We're about
Miss
to go
Daisy.
and do a driving test. What's the man's name, Sue? Is he Steve? Someone. He contacted
Why
us.
would you need to do a driving
'Cause
test
he
when you've
said-
never lost a
'cause he
point? You
said-
drive. You might as well. You just go.
Wayne, because he said he was listening to the podcast when we were up in Airlie Beach, and I said exactly this, I'm the best. He said, I'll give you a test. I'm a driving instructor and teach people. I said, Wayne, you like to organise that, mate. I'll show you that I'm the best driver in Australia. And sure enough, he contacted us last week, and we've got an appointment to go out to Carlton with him and Sue, and he's going to put me through the ropes. And I said, mate, I'll be absolutely, there's nothing you can throw at me that I won't be the best at.
So is he gonna put you through what a 17, 18-year-old goes through now?
Yes. I think, isn't he?
Well,
Driving
given that
instructors.
you've been driving for
Yeah.
65 years,
Yeah.
you would hope that you pass that test.
That's why I'm the best, one of the best drivers in the
Anyway,
country.
I can tell already the fact that you haven't lost a point.
Yeah.
I know, and most of our listeners, your listeners, would now be sitting there saying, you'd be an annoying person on the road.
Would I? Because I don't rush up to lights and let people cut in on me.
You'd be one of those guys where you want to get in. So when I'm talking in the flow of traffic now, you want to get in, and you're just staying at that distance to not let them.
I'm staying at the distance so I don't have to jam my brakes on in case the bloke in front of me does. And I don't have to worry about cutting in on me because I'm not letting anyone come down a spare lane and take my space after I've waited for 7 minutes in the line of traffic like everyone else has.
You
Wayne,
make me laugh.
I tell you, there's this extraordinary of looking at people's dicks in the urinal, getting out and having a chat to people who cut you in little small trucks. It's quite staggering. So anyhow, what I want to wish you, because tomorrow, time tomorrow, you'll be a father again.
I will.
Want to wish you absolutely on behalf of all our listeners on You Cannot Be Serious. I wish you well with all that, and as long as the young lad is healthy, and I'm sure it would be, you would have done all the tests, but you never know. We just hope that everything's health, and so is your partner and everything. So this has been good, Wayne. It's been another exciting day that I've just can't wrap my head around. So that's it, and we'll hopefully speak again next week. All the best. Thank you, my friend.